Welcome back, everybody. I am the programmer, and I'm here to teach you everything you need to know about coding to get a job. Today, we're going to look at the ternary operator. It's the third part of a four-part series of conditional statements, so if you're ready, put on your favorite tank top, grab yourself a bunch of a protein shake, and let's get started. Alright, so in the last few videos I explained how to set up basic conditional statements. So, if I would ask you to make a conditional piece of code to check whether a specific age is to be considered an adult or a minor, then you probably do something like this. You're probably going to say, well, first I'm going to define an age. That's going to be 18. I'm also going to define a message here, and I'm gonna say if age is larger than or equal to 18, then I want the message to be you are an adult. Else, if it's not the case, the message is going to be you are a minor. Close this off, and then I'm going to console log message, and it's going to tell me you are an adult. It's a basic conditional statement. But what if you want the code to be much shorter? Because right now you will have to code all of this just to get a small line of code back. Now, this is when we would use something called the ternary operator. And a ternary operator is a shorthand way to write a simple if-else statement. And the way how we write a ternary operation in terms of structure is you start off with a condition, then you put down a question mark, and then you have a piece of code that's going to execute if that condition or the expression is true. Then you put down a colon, and after the colon, you give a piece of code to execute whenever this expression is false. So, to give you the example of the age check, what we would do is, again, we're going to define age. We're going to define a message, and I'm going to say age is larger than or equal to 18, and then we'll do the following. We're gonna say age is larger than or equal to 18. This is going to be the condition, and then I'm going to put down a question mark. So it kind of reads like a normal sentence. You're basically going to ask, age more than or equal to 18? Yes? Yes? Okay, well, if that's the case, the message is going to be you are an adult. And if that is not the case, we're going to put down a colon. This is going to be the else, right? Just imagine the colon to be else. Then message is going to be you are a minor. And if I execute this and I console log message, then there you go. You are an adult. Something you need to keep in mind that this is only really useful for short and simple if-else operations. If you have a bunch of else if, else if, else if, else if code, then you probably don't want to use this. Let's say I have the following piece of code in front of me right now, and this is going to calculate what my score is going to be. However, this is good, right? This is good. It's very obvious, and it's very clear, and it's very nice to look at, because you know exactly what's going to happen right now. And this is what the ternary equivalence of that would be. And while it's not a very long piece of code, it's not that nice to look at. It's not very readable. And what that means is if somebody else is going to go through your code, it needs to be obvious what you're doing. If I'm looking at this, it's very obvious. I don't need to do a lot of mental gymnastics to figure out, oh, if score is this, then that, then that, then this. It's very easy. However, when reading a ternary operation, people can get lost very quickly. You have to do some thinking, right? So score is more than 90. Yes, okay. A, okay. If yes, that's going to be score. If it's larger than 80, then no, then what? Okay, it's going to be less readable, right? I think you get the point. So when should you use these? If you have a simple if-else kind of statement. If you have a lot of them, if you have a lot of else-if going on, don't use them. Just use it the way that we learned in the previous lessons. But what if? What if you have a lot, like a lot of different else-if conditions? Is it still a good practice to, to just write everything out like that? Isn't there a better way? Well, we're going to talk about that in the next video, because then we're going to cover the switch statement. So I hope you're looking forward to that one. This was the ternary operator. Take care, God bless, and goodbye.